Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's lovely to have you here with me today. My name is Anna and I am a knitter and maker living in Seattle, Washington. And today I'm going to chat to you about what I got up to in the month of July. What I worked on, what I got, and then maybe some plans for the fall. So thanks for bearing with me as I took a little bit of a break in the month of July. I have not been feeling super well this month and have just been really quite tired and not knitting as much. And then I got into a little bike accident like right before when I would normally film my mid-month video, and like scratched up my face pretty badly, which is mostly healed now. But if you see some like little spots here and here, I fell off my bike and skinned my knees and my hand and my face. I'm fine. It was just like mostly just scrapes. But it happened like the day before I was planning to film my mid-month video, and I just didn't really feel like being on camera when I was like all scabby and gross. So I spared you that and just enjoyed a little bit of a break in July. But I'm back for August and I have some things to chat with you about. I also think at the end of the video, I'll chat with you a little bit about the Flock Fiber Festival, which if you're watching this video the week that it goes up, it's coming up this weekend. I'm really excited about it. And if you're coming to town for the festival, I'll give you a couple recommendations of fun things you can do in Seattle while you're here. So that's where we're gonna go. That's what we're gonna do today. And let's get rolling. Today's video is kindly sponsored by BenQ. They are a technology company, and when they approached me, they asked if they could send me their desk lamp, which is really great because previously I was using my like floor lamp and kind of moved it out of its normal location to sit over the arm of my couch so that I can have light on my hands while I'm knitting. But not have like the big light on in the living room so that when I'm watching TV with my partner or just by myself, there's not a big glare on the TV. They sent me the product for free to try out and give me my opinion on. And so far I've really enjoyed it. It has lots of great features and I'm excited to incorporate it into my new craft room once my basement renovation is done. So I'll talk you through some of the features of the lamp so you can check it out for yourself, and then we will be on our merry way with business as usual, chatting about yarn. So often while I leave it right here on my couch arm, and while I'm watching TV or watching other YouTube videos about knitting, I can have it on right over my shoulder, and so I can see the TV really well, but also have a really great illumination for my knitting. So I really like the features on this lamp. I think it's really great. It's very movable and adjustable to all sorts of different positions, so you can situate it just so while you're working. It's very easy to turn on and off with just a touch. You can change the brightness of the light, and you can also change the tone of the light or the value, the warmth. So I like to keep mine kind of at a neutral daylightish color, and then a little bit dimmer just so it's not in the way. When I'm watching TV with my husband, he can still enjoy without glare, but I keep it right over my shoulder, and it really has made my knitting life quite lovely over the past few months. So I will put some links for this lamp if you're interested in checking it out down below. But that is the BenQ Intelligent Design Light. I've really enjoyed it and would recommend it if you're in the market for a new lamp for all things crafting. So I have no finished objects for July. This is like the first time in a really long time that I haven't finished anything in a month, but I don't feel bad about it. I think overall this year I've knit a little bit more slowly than I have in the past. I log all of my projects in Ravelry. It's just a good way for me to keep track of what I worked on, and I checked today, and in 2022 I completed 38 projects. And so far in 2023, I've only completed like 12 or 14 projects, which is still a lot. But I was doing like 3 projects a month last year, and this year I've just slowed down and I'm doing more like 1 to 2 projects a month. I mean, it's still quite a lot of knitting, but I'm just taking things a little bit more slowly, and I think that's okay. I think I'm doing a better job of knitting intentionally, which is what I wanted, and making things that are good for my wardrobe and that work for me. So I have no finished objects, but I did want to wear a knitted piece to show you because I thought it would be fun to talk about. I made this last summer. This is the Rib Lace Raglan, which is a lovely pattern by James N. Watts. And he has a bunch of fun new summer patterns that recently came out. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about his patterns. And also my mom just finished one of these that I think she's planning to wear a flock this weekend. So I thought it was fun that we could both have matching tops. Well, hers is black, but this is what it looks like. It has this lovely, very beginner friendly lace and rib. I made mine in Fidalgo yarn and wool, I believe. Riley and Me base, which is a wool, alpaca, and silk blend. I bought this last year at, it's another yarn festival that happens in Washington in the month of June. Why can't I remember? I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put it on the screen. I bought this last year at that festival and really like it. I think this base is no longer available. I went to Fidalgo's storefront. They have a storefront in Anacortes, Washington, which is like an hour and a half from Seattle. And it's where you get on the ferry to go out to the Orcas and the San Juan Islands. But I went to their store there and I didn't see this base in their store at all. So I don't think they carry it anymore, but I do really like it. I love any like wool, alpaca, silk, linen kind of blend. And it is pretty comfortable for summer in Seattle, where we stick in like the mid 70s Fahrenheit and below. But I wouldn't wear it in a warmer climate. But yes, it's a hand-dyed yarn, so there's some variegation to it, and I didn't alternate skein, so you can kind of tell down the bottom of the top is a little more variegated than the top of the top, but I don't really mind. I like this shirt a lot. It's very versatile. It's very comfortable. I don't remember what size I knit, but I'm sure it's on my Ravelry project page, which I will link down below for you. And overall, I really liked it. I made mine with 2 skeins of DK weight yarn. I think the pattern is actually written for fingering, but I wanted something a little bit more dense, just a fabric that wasn't going to be quite as sheer. So I knit mine in a DK weight, and yeah, that's my top. My mom just knit one, and I think she's going to wear it this weekend when she comes to the festival, so that'll be very fun. So if you see us walking around, my mom will be in a black rib lace raglan, and I have not determined yet what I will be wearing, which is a good segue to my first work in progress. This is the Tied Loops tee, which I'm still hoping to be able to wear to flock this weekend. This is a pattern by Other Loops, who is a Danish designer, I believe. And I've been working on this since June, and it's been slow going. I think I just have had too many fingering weight projects this summer, and it's really not making me feel super motivated. This is my 3rd fingering weight top with t-shirt with sleeves that I've made this summer. And this one has been quite the slog. So it's been really fun and interesting, and I love the way that it's turning out, but it is not fast. So I'm making this in Elsbeth Lavold's Silky Wool, which is a wool silk nylon blend. Can you tell I have like a type? But it's this really beautiful texture that's meant to look like sand under the water. And I've blocked the top. I think last time I showed it to you, I had just joined for the body. So I've finished the whole body, and I've blocked some of it and not others. So I finished this. It ended up being, my gauge is a little bit, my stitch gauge is correct on this, but my row gauge is a little bit short. So I ended up having to do 2 extra bands on the bottom. 1, 2. So I added a little bit of length onto what the pattern says, which is like, it recommends a certain number of repeats, and then it says you can knit to the length that you want. So I just tried it on as I was going to make sure it was going to be long enough. And then I just finished this beautiful knitted down facing, which I love the look of, but I hate doing. I just feel like it takes forever. But I really like the look of it, and I'm glad that I took the time to do it. I think it looks really nice. And once it's blocked, I'm sure it'll look even nicer, and it'll help it to hang nicely. And then I just picked up sleeves and started knitting picked up stitches and started knitting the first sleeve this morning on my way to work on the bus. And I'm about to do the first kind of pattern repeat on the sleeves. Now, today is Tuesday. I'm going to the festival on Saturday. So if I can spend Tuesday and Wednesday knitting the first sleeve and Thursday and Friday knitting the second sleeve, there's a possibility that I could wear this to the festival this Saturday. I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna force myself. Like I've said, I have had waning mojo recently. And so if I don't get this done, I'm not going to be sad. I have many other cute things I can wear, but I'm still going to try. I think, so I'm also playing yarn chicken, which is very typical for me. I had 5 skeins of this yarn, and which is 250 grams, and the pattern in the size that I'm making calls for 300. So I knew I was going to be playing yarn chicken from the beginning, but I think it'll be okay. So I ended up basically finishing the body with the end of a skein. I had 1 skein left. I used like the tiniest little bit of my last skein to help finish out the body, like maybe 2 grams. And then I took my last 50 gram skein and I've split it into 2 to do the sleeves. So the pattern asks for 4 of these repeats on the sleeves. I don't think I'm going to get that far. I think I'm going to do 2 and see how much yarn I have left, and then decide if I can risk a 3rd one before I do the facing. So we'll see. I think it'll be fine because in the pattern, 4 repeats on the sleeves is quite long. It like takes it almost to the elbow. Granted, this is a little, kind of like a more oversized pattern, and I'm knitting, I think for my bust circumference, I'm recommended to be knitting the size 3, but because I knew I was going to be playing yarn chicken, I'm knitting the size 2. So it still has like maybe 4 inches of positive ease on me, but it's a little bit less ease than recommended. So the drop shoulder comes to like maybe here on me. So if I can get, I think if I can get the sleeves to be the length, similar length to the t-shirt that I'm wearing now, I'll be happy. And we'll see. I think it'll be fine. I'm not going to get the 4 full repeats, I don't think, but I'll do as much as I can and do the same on the other side, and I think it will be fine. So I'm going to keep chugging away on this. Hopefully I can finish it in time for the festival. If you're there and you see me wearing it, give me congratulations because I did it. And if you're there and you don't see me wearing it, don't bring it up. I'm just kidding. You can bring it up if you want. But yes, I'm hoping that I can have this done in time. We shall see. I might be like casting it off in the parking lot and wearing it unblocked, but we'll see. But yeah, I've enjoyed this pattern. Like I said, it's on small needles and it's fine yarn, so it's taken me a long time. And this is now the 3rd fingering weight top that I've knit this summer, so I'm moving a little bit slow, but slow is not necessarily a bad thing. Knitting is a slow craft inherently, and I don't feel the need to be cranking things out. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love the texture. I think it's really beautiful and really unique. And I will be happy to have this in my wardrobe. It's going to be warm in Seattle for another month or 2 still. So I think I will still have plenty of opportunity to wear this lovely top over the next many weeks before it gets too hot or before it cools down too much for it. So I'm going to keep working on this. Hopefully I can get it done in time. Cross your fingers for me. Send me good vibes. So that is work in progress number 1. This is the other half of the ball that I have. That seems like quite a lot of yarn. I think I'll be able to make a good sleeve length with that. So yes, that is work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 is scrunched up really small on these needles, but it is my LOL shorts, which is a pattern from Pasculi Knit Designs, which is a yarn brand. But I'm not using their yarn to knit this pattern. I just really liked the pattern, and so I'm knitting it with some hobbii rainbow bamboo yarn, which was gifted to me just for full disclosure. And I've now done both the legs and just barely joined for the body of the shorts. Last time I showed this to you, I think I had 1 leg started and I had started a 2nd leg, but I didn't have enough stitches, so I had started again. So I knit this whole leg up pretty quickly, and I'm really enjoying this so far. It's like very meditative and repetitive, but in a fun way. I did add an extra repeat to the legs to make the inseam a little bit longer. I think the inseam on the pattern as written is about 5 inches, and I added 1 more repeat, which got me to closer to 6 inches, which I think will just be a length that I'm a little bit more comfortable with. And the reason this is scrunched up on this tiny cable is because I was working on this while I was out of town and I didn't have an extra longer cable with me. So now that I'm home, I could put this on a longer cable. I guess I should have done that before I talked to you. But anyway, here we are. It doesn't look like much right now. It's like basically 2 sleeves barely connected. But I'm gonna keep working on these. I think they'll be really fun. I'm planning to mostly use them as like indoor lounge shorts anyway. So even if I don't get them done until it starts to cool down a little bit, I will still have opportunities to wear them around the house, and they will definitely be done for next summer. So this has been really fun. I like the yarn a lot. It was sponsored, but I do really like it. I like the feeling of it. It knits up really easily. It's not like stiff like 100% cotton because it's 50-50-ish cotton bamboo. It has beautiful drape, as you can see, and I love the color. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm gonna just keep plugging away on these more as after I finish my t-shirt, because I'm like laser focused on trying to get that done for this weekend. But after that, I'm gonna work on these because I don't think, I mean, it's basically just knitting in a circle with the occasional patterned round, which here's a better look at the texture. It just has this kind of pearl stitch texture that makes it a little bit more interesting. And I have to do some decreases now that I'm working on the body section, but overall this is like a relatively simple knit. It's the perfect amount of simple for me because I don't love something that's just like the same thing constantly with no change in it. But this one you need to like count 1, 2, 3 rows and then do your pattern row and then count 3 more rows and then do your pattern row. So it's just like interesting enough for me to keep my attention, which has been really fun. So I'm gonna keep working away on these and hopefully I'll have them to show you finished relatively soon. My last work in progress, I think I had also just started in last month's video. This is my, hold on, let me figure out which is the front. Okay. This is my Frankie Cancer, which is from Sunfish Garn. It is a pattern from the Soft for Women 2022, something like 20. It's from the Soft for Women pattern book that you probably have heard me talk about a million times and are tired of hearing about. But this is just like a really basic, simple, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. This is like a relatively simple compound raglan-y, saddle shouldery top. I guess relatively simple is the right term for it because if you can see here on the shoulder, I'm not sure how well it's gonna show up on the camera, but you can see you do like some saddle shoulder increases and then you do 1 increase rate on the body and then change the increase rate again for the sleeves. So it's kind of like this and then like this and then like this, if that makes sense. So it goes like this and then like this and then like this. So the shaping is kind of involved, but I've enjoyed it so far. This collar will be folded down, which I can't remember if this was on here last time I showed it to you. I don't think so. I think I had just started it. So that will be folded down to be more of a shorter collar. Maybe, I guess I could leave it as a mock neck, but if I was gonna do that, I would have done a different bind off. So yes, I've bound it off. I'm gonna stitch it down. I find that more flexible, honestly, than a knitted down bind off. And I'm working through the body. The design feature about this that is interesting is that it has a really, really long ribbing section on the body, which I like, but I think I'm gonna make mine slightly shorter than the pattern calls for. I think maybe by 5 centimeters. So I'll do an extra 5 centimeters of stockinette on the body before I do the ribbing. And I will do the same on the sleeves. That's one other thing about this pattern is that the ribbing length on the body is different than the ribbing length on the sleeves. And if you know me, if you've watched my videos before, you know I really don't like that. I like the body ribbing and the arm ribbing to be similar or the same. So I'm gonna decrease them both a little bit. I'm gonna decrease the body ribbing by 5 centimeters and the arm ribbing by 3 centimeters so that they are the same length. They will still be very long, but slightly shorter. So that's my plan for that. I'm almost, I think, to the point where I can start the ribbing on the body, which seems crazy, but yes, that's where I'm at right now. I love this color. This is the Hobbii Friends wool, which I also received from them to try, complimentary, but I've really enjoyed it so far. It's a good non-superwash wool that is not too scratchy. I know I have a reputation for enjoying scratchy wools, but this is not scratchy, I would say. This is like a pretty good beginner rustic wool. I feel like most people could wear this pretty comfortably. So yeah, the gauge for this sweater is 18 stitches per 10 centimeters. And I did a gauge swatch where I got that gauge, but I had to go up a needle size and I felt like the fabric was too loose. So I went ahead with the needle size recommended in the pattern, which is a 4.5 millimeter needle. And I had originally thought I was going to be getting a 20 stitch gauge. So this pattern is extremely oversized, by the way. And I had looked at other people's projects and I was like, that's a little bit too oversized. So I was okay knowing that my gauge was going to be a little bit tighter and my garment would be a little bit smaller. But now that I've knit it and I did a first block of the yoke, which is why it looks mostly smooth, and then it's like you can see where I was when I blocked and where it's not blocked. But after doing that first block, I measured my gauge again and it's closer to 19 stitches per 10 centimeters. So I think I calculated that I think I'm gonna end up with like 120 centimeter circumference, which is a really good circumference for me. It gives me like 25 centimeters, like a good 25 centimeters of positive ease, but it's not like swallowing me whole. So I think that'll be good. I think I did my Marseille sweater earlier this year in that hat that is like 30 plus centimeters of positive ease, swallowing me whole, which I think works for a drop shoulder construction, but I don't love it as much for a raglan because then your yoke ends up being really deep and blah, blah, blah. I think oversized looks better on a drop shoulder. So this will be the appropriate amount of oversized for a raglan, and I'm glad that I'm gonna have a little bit more room in it, and it'll be very cozy and very cute, and I'm very excited to have it done, but I'm also not super in a rush. So yes, that is my Frankie Cancer. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I wanted to say about it. I don't think so. I'm really enjoying it. People ask me this pretty often. I got my pattern book, I ordered it online from the UK, but my local yarn store here in Seattle, which is called Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. Yes, Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. Sorry, there are a lot of local yarn stores that I go to frequently, but Tea Cozy is the closest one to me, and they stock Sundisk yarn, and they often have this book in stock. So if you're looking for the book, give them a call. I've heard from people who have asked me, who have like sent me messages looking for the book, that if you call them, they are willing to do an order for you. I think you have to buy yarn with the booklet, but there's a sock pattern in the book. So you could buy a couple skeins of sock yarn and get the book and it wouldn't be too terribly expensive. So if you're still looking for this pattern book, give Tea Cozy a call. I will leave their information in the description box so you can find them. The workers there are lovely and are very happy to help. So just a pro tip from me to you. But yeah, that's my Frankie. So yes, that is all I have for you this month. I still have a sock project going, but I have not touched it since I talked to you last. So not much to say on that, really. But yes, so that is it for the projects that I have to show you. I have some fun acquisitions for you though. So part of the reason I did less knitting this month is because I was very busy. I went to Texas to stay with my niece and nephew while their parents and their grandma and their aunt went to Scotland for a friend's wedding. So my husband James and I stayed with the kids for 10 days while their parents and my husband's mom and sister, and they all went to Scotland on a very fun trip. And they were very grateful that we watched their kids for them. And so they brought me lots of goodies back from Scotland, which is very fun. So I want to show you what they brought me because I got quite the assortment of goodies. Yes. So my sister-in-law, whose kids I was watching, got me these, which I think she got all of this yarn that I'm showing you from this shop, which is called The Hand Spinner Having Fun, which I think is on or very near to the Isle of Skye. Yes, it's on the Isle of Skye, probably very near to the ferry terminal. And this little shop sells this yarn, and here's some cute pictures of the shop. So that's very fun. And she bought me a hand-dyed yarn and then a local yarn. So this hand-dyed yarn is from the owner of The Hand Spinner Having Fun, and it is a hand-dyed lace weight Falklands wool and silk blend. It doesn't say what the blend is, like what the wool to silk percentages are, but this is a 100 gram skein, 800 meters, and it's a lace weight. So I'm not sure what to do with this yet. I don't know if I want to treat it like a second strand and hold it with something else to get like a cool variegated effect, or if I want to just hold this double and treat it like a fingering weight yarn. I haven't decided yet. It could be a very pretty hat if I folded it double. If I held it double, I mean. I also really like, so it's like got these really vibrant purples in it, but then down here is more of like a muted purple that's very pretty, and then more of the vibrant. So I'm not sure what I want to do with this yet, but it's very soft and very swishy and very pretty. So if you have any ideas for a lace weight yarn, I do have a white, sorry, there's a garbage truck going by. I do have a white lace weight yarn that's 100% merino that I could hold these two together and it's something fingering weight maybe. But yeah, I don't know. If you have any ideas for a lace weight yarn, I don't think I want to make it into a shawl, like a Shetland lace shawl, because it's variegated. But if you have any thoughts, there are some like cute bralette patterns that use lace weight yarn. A lot of the naked knit patterns use lace weight yarn. So I could do that. I don't know, if you have lace weight yarn ideas, let me know. Or like I could make gloves with it held double or some kind of accessory. It's very cute though, I like it. Lots of fun, pretty colors in that. And then she got me 2 skeins of this Isle of Skye 100% wool from Hebridean sheep. It's a DK weight, 50 grams, and it's about 100 meters per 50 grams. So I think I'm gonna use these either for a hat. It's pretty rustic, even for me. Scratchy. So I don't know if I'll use it for a hat or maybe I'll use it for some gloves or mittens. I could also use it for some color work. It's like a really pretty, I think it's showing up closer to black here, but it's more of like a very dark natural sheep's brown. That's a better color. Look at it. It's kind of, it's a natural sheep color, but it's like a really deep brown. I could use it for some color work. That could be fun. Yeah, but those are really pretty and I like them a lot. They're very up my street. I could do a really cozy pair of socks with these actually. I have some brown mohair, silk mohair left over from a project that I could hold with this and make some really cozy socks maybe. You know, I love me a pair of rustic socks. So that is very fun. And then my other sister-in-law, who was tagging along on the trip, got me this cute little kit for these Orsney plait mittens, which this is the pattern that it comes with. They're very cute. And then she brought this yarn came with it, which looks like a lovely hand-dyed wool. And the kit is from Hand Spinner Having Fun, so same store. But yeah, it's probably also hand-dyed from the same dyer. So yeah, gives you all the instructions for the mittens and the yarn. So that was very kind. And then she also got me, I'm trying to remember, either my sister-in-law or my mother-in-law bought this for me. I sent them with a list of things to look for, and this was on the list. If you watch Rebecca from the Crayabea, you will be very aware of Kinross 4-ply, and they got me this like little mini skein kit. So it's 10 gram minis, and it has a bunch of their different colors on it. So it goes all the way from, here, let's see, it has laurel, artichoke, loden, midnight, which I'm not sure you're gonna get the heathering in, but it's very pretty. This is coffee, which is almost like a reddish brown. We've got hawthorn, which is so pretty. It's a very reddish brown with, it's like basically a red marled with yellow and blue and green and all sorts of stuff. And then we have nutmeg, which is a beautiful brown. This is very much up my street. And then this is Samara, Tusk, and cream. So I've got all these fun minis, 10 grams of each. I have 100 grams total of all of these fun little minis of Kinross 4-ply. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them yet. I just don't know. So if you have any thoughts, I could do a shawl maybe if I held it with like a, if I used another yarn and like alternated the colors. I could do like a fade, or I could maybe do something Andrea Mowry with these instead of using like a spin cycle, using the little minis. Great for color work. Again, that would be a fun option. I don't know. There's between 45 and 56 meters in each of these little guys. So let me know what you think. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. There's so many fun colors, and I've heard nothing but praise for this yarn. So I'm not sure. Maybe a cowl, maybe a scarf. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe I should look at Marie Wallen patterns and see if she has anything that uses like 10 or 11 colors for like a scarf or gloves or a tam or something. Not that I would wear a tam. That could be an option. Let me know what you think. And then the last thing that my mother-in-law got me is 4 skeins of this very cool yarn. This is called Frost DK, which is like a natural sheep kind of heathery color. It is called Scattering Seed. It is a Cheviot and Zwartables blend. DK weight 100 grams, about 235 meters per 100 grams. And she got me 4 of these. So I think I want to use these to make a sweater. I'm not sure if I'm going to use a pattern or if I'm just going to freestyle it. Honestly, I've looked at some other people who have used this yarn and it's very beautiful, but it kind of ends up looking almost like a Noro yarn. Like if you watch Marlene from Marlene's Knits, she made this Tolsta tee with a Noro yarn that kind of had this like striping through it because of the way that the yarn was blended. And I think that's what this yarn is going to end up doing. So I don't want to do anything too like textured or lace because I want the color of the yarn to be on display. So I think I'm going to do something just very simple. And I may end up just doing like, I have 4 skeins, which puts me like just under 1,000 meters. So I could do maybe like a, what's that raglan that everybody does? The Lento? Or maybe I could just freestyle one. I'm not sure, but I like the yarn a lot. It's pretty rustic. It's very up my street. It's a lovely gift. So yes, that is all of my fun yarn stash augmentations. So yes, that is it for the yarny goodness for today. I will leave you with some chitter chatter about Flock and about Seattle. So I'm going to the festival on Saturday. I will be going with my mom. We don't have tickets yet, so we will end up going, we'll probably get in line at like 11:30 and we'll get into the venue whenever we get in, hopefully before like 1 o'clock. So we will be there midday, early afternoon. If you are going to be there, I would love to see you and say hello. Please feel free to say hi, wave at me, come tap me on the shoulder. I'd love to see you, love to see the projects that you're working on and wearing and what you find and what you're buying. So please don't feel shy about coming up to say hello. I will be very excited to chat with you. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to go, and I think it will be very fun. If you're coming in from out of town for the festival, here are some places I think you should visit. If you want to go to breakfast before the festival, either on Saturday or on Sunday, I would recommend Patty's Eggnest or the Egg and Us in Ballard, or I have not been to, but I've heard really good things about Beth's Cafe and Portage Bay Cafe. Those are some places you could check out for breakfast. Other places I like to eat, Un Bien, which is like a Caribbean sandwich place. Let's see, Pagliacci's, which is kind of a local pizza chain, really like, very good. They have tons of locations all over the city. What else? If you're looking for things to do, you can visit Magnusson Park, which is where the venue is held. It's a beautiful park right on Lake Washington. You could go to Gasworks Park, which is on Lake Union. The weather's supposed to be really beautiful this weekend, so outside is a great option. Golden Gardens Park, which is kind of like a beach park. If you have access to a car, it's kind of hard to access by a transit, but if you have access to a car, Golden Gardens is lovely. I have heard lovely things about Seward Park. If you want a nice view of downtown, you should visit Kerry Park. Always recommend going out to Bainbridge Island if you have the chance, but if you don't have time to go all the way to Bainbridge, you can take the Seattle water taxi and across the water from downtown Seattle to West Seattle. And it gives you a beautiful view of the downtown. It's a little more affordable. It's a short ride. And you can it'll drop you off like on Alki Beach, which is another really pretty area of Seattle. You can kind of walk around the trails around there. What else do I recommend? Being outside. This is like the most wonderful time of year in Seattle. So just like be outside, walk around the neighborhood that you're going to be staying in. Seattle has the best and cutest little neighborhoods. Lots of bakeries and local places like Grand Central Bakery or Seawolf Bakery or Larsen's Bakery, or I don't know, just like get out and walk around and explore and enjoy. And if you have any questions about things to do, I can leave me a comment and I'll happy to answer. But yes, I hope you enjoy Seattle if you're going to be here, because it's a lovely city. It's very close to my heart. I love it very much. So yeah, that's my thoughts about that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you so much for watching. And I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for your patience as I took a little bit of time for myself this month. And hopefully next month I'll have lots of fun things to show you. I'm going to try and take some footage while I'm at Flock so I can show you what I'm seeing and say hello and share a little vlog with you in the next couple of weeks about my experience. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again so much for watching. Thank you to BenQ for sponsoring this video. And that is it for me. So I will talk to you again very soon.